You're now tuned into Temp Check, bringing you the hottest topics and spiciest conversations. With your hosts, BoeBlast and Cinnamon, only on Fever Radio.
Yeah, it's another Spicy Wednesday, and I'm ready to make it hot touch. Your host, BoeBlast, homegirl,
Cinnamon.
And you're now listening to
Temp Check.
Yeah, we here.
We are here, man.
What? Man, your temperature ain't good?
Yeah. I don't know how I'm feeling right now. We just had an amazing show that nobody could hear. Like
we heard it. I don't know who else heard it. Nobody else heard it, but we heard it.
So what happened, Bo? Tell people what happened. Why we here?
We had a whole bunch of like a kung fu movie. Like the lips was moving, but wasn't.
So yeah, we just had 45 minutes, 45 minutes with a great guest, Kwabi, and we with the Peace Bus. And fortunately, he is so dope. But we had some technical difficulties, and so we're just gonna do a little recap. That's just it's how it goes. It's how it goes.
We was live.
Yeah, we were live.
And we still are live. Like, we still live people. We live wires. And he was live. Man, he had so much great stuff going on with his Peace Bus. And every
Peace
kid
plane.
can eat. Man, the Peace Plane. He got so much information that is still left for the people to hear that we did have. And we appreciate him for coming and giving his time. We definitely got to bring him back. We're going to bring him back for something else in a whole other capacity that the people are going to love.
Oh yeah. Some collaboration with the good work that he's doing, but yeah, that was funny. I got all kinds of texts from my mom. Look at your phone. I can't hear you.
Some of the things that we're not going to go in depth about, but they missed out on us talking about.
It was fun.
Dave Chappelle getting rushed on stage. They missed about the Roe versus Wade. They missed about a whole lot of other little stuff, but they didn't miss out on the whole conversation about the Peace Bus.
Even Kwabi with the Roe versus Wade, he shared an intimate story. His mother, the doctors were trying to convince her to abort him. Yeah. And because they thought he was going to have Down syndrome. Yeah, that was dope. But she did not. And now here he is, spreading peace around the world. Peace all the way to the Middle East. That
was a dope story. And his perspective, like when I asked him he carry a piece on the Peace Bus with him to feel protected. And he was like, no, I'm like more Muhammad Ali. I can spread my message without violence. But we was like, Muhammad Ali was intimidating. He was like, well, I rollerblade. Yeah. And I'm in shape. And I do a lot of jump
He grew
jump
up
ropes.
in UT, y'all.
But nah, he's dope. And we appreciate you guys for having patience with us as we grow. But trust me, you won't be disappointed with what's left.
We'll be right back with more hot topics and spicy conversations on Temp Check, only here on Fever Radio.
As you were preparing for your trip, because you had the audacity to think that you should travel the country talking about peace.
Right.
What? Tell me about that.
To the White House,
right? From sea to shining sea, from Washington State all the way to Washington, D.C. Yeah. So this summer, I did a campaign called Manifest Humanity, right? Kind of like Manifest Destiny, this notion of traveling from coast to coast. Yeah. And I wrote a letter to the President Biden, talking about peace. But not only that, but the major inhibitors of peace, which I want to talk about later, right? But I took this trip with the Peace Bus, the baby blue bus, and I traveled from Washington State, and I stopped in major cities along the way in the U.S., and I eventually made it to D.C. to try to meet with the president. I didn't get to meet with Biden, but I got to talk to a really cool protester that had been outside of the White House for 40 years campaigning for peace, which was really cool to meet him.
Wait, he was standing outside?
He had a hut. He had a hut with a bunch of posters. His name is Filippo. I'll never forget this guy.
Wow.
And he had been camping outside of there.
Oh, yeah, that's Gandhi's cousin.
Okay.
Filippo.
Wow. Yeah. But yeah, really cool dude. And in the cities I stayed in, I did some speeches, give out books. I had a book list of peace books that I thought that encompassed, humanizing others, and gave them away.
And that bus broke down.
In Queens.
That bus broke down. I know that old ass bus had to break down.
Yeah, it did break down.
That bus broke down. Come on, man. I paid attention. I researched him, and not only did it break down, it was down and out for a little bit too. And somebody had to come fix that Peace Bus. Somebody had to heal, Lord, on the bus. They had to
put the blessing on it. Yeah, man. The Peace Bus was down for almost a half a year.
Yeah.
Half a year. And anywhere I turn, I try to get help, and they would always tell me it's too old.
You didn't go on no peace walks?
You're like, I'm not letting go of that.
You didn't put on no backpacks and go?
That was it, man. I took a break. But in the meantime, while the bus was getting fixed, I still continued with my pilot training. With my peace
That's what I was about to get into.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
You're going to have a whole little collection of...
So instead of you driving, you're going to be flying.
Right. Well,
so what are you doing with that?
Right. So the idea that sort of unfolded naturally, the Peace Bus is mainly for kids, about youth, young adults, kids and whatnot, educating the youth on what peace is, as well as humanitarian aid for the youth. Then the Peace Plane is going to be a docuseries, right? Once I get my private pilot's license, I'm going to literally fly around the world, talk to people about peace. The idea is, why would this gentleman use so much resources in order to fly an airplane for peace? Why is this so important? And if I can get world leaders, get celebrities, get everyday people talking about the most important topic of peace, I think we can be in better shape as a world, right? And looking at the inhibitors of peace being poverty, being racism, and then lack of quality education. In my thoughts, I don't see us coming together in peace with those things still being a factor.
And they're really not, when you look at them, they're really not separate.
Right.
They're encompassing, and they each have created the other.
Right.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, you're taking on a big bag.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Curtis High School.
Okay. What was that like for you? What was Did you feel like this journey was amongst you while you was in high school? Oh, no, you just said college, though.
Right, grad school. When I was in college, I was rollerblading, man. I just wanted to skate.
What? You thought you was going to be on roll bounce, too?
No, not like roller skating, like rollerblading, like outside and doing tricks and stuff.
Oh.
Half pipe and stuff, you know.
Yeah, well, if you grew up in University Place, if you went to Curtis, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds
definitely.
about right.
So there's adult activities that put people at peace, like alcohol, like smoking. You smoke?
No, I don't smoke.
What you do?
I don't drink or
what
smoke.
You do?
Well,
You
think about it
meditate?
this way. Well, not really either that. I jump rope. I jump rope every day. It calms me. It keeps me fit, right? Keeps my mind. I do a lot of thinking when I'm jump roping. Also, Muhammad Ali did a ton of jump roping. Is where he did a lot
That's
of
the second reference.
He records, too.
He's one of my most important inspirations, man. Him and this guy named A.B. Nathan. Have you guys heard of A.B.
Now, let's
Nathan?
talk about him. Who is that?
A.B. Nathan. That's my guy, man. His heyday was like the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And he was a peace pilot. He was from Israel,
A.B.
right?
Nathan.
Okay.
And he flew an airplane called Peace One from Tel Aviv all the way to Egypt to promote better relations between Arabs and Jews. And as we know, these are two factions of people who have been at odds for quite some time. And he also had a peace ship.
Oh, he's Israel.
Yeah. He also had a peace ship, and it was a radio station, kind of like what we guys going on here. And you invite people from around the world. He was friends with John Lennon, and they would have peace talks. You know, also play really cool music. That's my guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's dope, man. I like to hear this, man. You sound like a cool dude, man.
Thanks,
This
bro.
ain't no disguise, is it? We ain't gonna come find out on the evening news we've had. Come to find out, the Peace Bus guy wasn't so peaceful.
No, never, man.
You don't got no
The ones you least expect.
Yeah.
You talking about skeletons in the closet? No, man. I've dedicated my life to this because I believe it's the most important thing. You know, I have this quote: "Just as space is the last endeavor for exploration, peace is the final frontier for society."
Dang, that's a lot.
So it's you know, as we are diving deep into space, trying to figure out these solutions, and we're expanding and progressing in that way, we have to do the same as far as society is concerned. And the furthest reach, our moon or our Mars, if you will, is peace for our society.
So I have a question. You talk a lot about what you've done and what you're doing for others. I know that this type of work is edifying. So I'd like to know, what has this work changed in you?
What is edifying? I ain't even heard that word. That's a great word.
Edifying, just it's like food for your soul.
Okay,
it's something that makes you better.
Right.
Not necessarily satisfying, but it's fulfilling and makes you better.
I like that word.
The overall is what it does. So how has it changed you? As you do this work, has your perspective change? What have you learned from it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
What has it done?
Before I had the bus, I was traveling the world. I had these posters. One said love, peace, and justice for all. The other one said war is not the answer, say no to violence. And I talked to everyday people about peace. I would go up to them and they'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, what does peace mean to you? And I got hundreds and hundreds of answers. Through that, I've learned about what peace is holistically. So we have our inner peace, right? A lot of times we talk about inner peace, you know, meditation, our way of life, religion, things like that. Then there's interpersonal peace. How can we connect and show love and respect towards our fellow human being, which is not talked about at all, right? And then there's diplomatic peace. How is China faring with Russia, the U.S. with Iran, these sort of things, which is talked about quite a bit. And through my studies and through this work that I've done, I've really got a better idea of interpersonal peace and how we can practice it.
So do you share that peace with anybody? Like, or are you just at peace with yourself? Like, do you have somebody at home? Are you about to have kids and train them on how to give peace? Like, what does this look like?
Well, the best way in order to teach peace is to show it by example. I don't preach. You know, I say what I've learned, right?
Lead from the front.
But I'm not really a preacher, right? I feel like I just try to live by example. And when I have kids, I hope that they pick up on it just by who I am and hopefully, you know, who my wife is. It will be a reflection of who we are, you know.
Are you religious?
I'm a Christian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the first person who has ever asked me if I have a religion.
Yeah, because I mean, that might not or might sway on how you react or how you move with your peace. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or who you're even willing to help give, right? Like, because some people are so far into what their group is or what their religion is that it's like, I want to make sure I just help this circle of people.
Yeah, never.
Are you willing to help
everybody?
Everybody.
Peace is for everyone, right? And that's what I believe in. I mean, we have to figure out a way to come together. And peace allows that to happen. When I took the peace bus to the border of Mexico, I took it to the border of Mexico in order to interview Border Patrol agents about the crisis. And when I did that, the officers didn't want to meet with anyone else. The reason why they allowed me to come to their headquarters and meet with them, just simply because I was talking about peace. Peace is a bridge of understanding. And oftentimes, if you just listen to someone, they'll be calm and they'll tell you what they think, right? But if you're talking and you're trying to figure out what you're going to say before they speak, they won't hear you out.
What's the cap?
The cap? Like the
like when are you done?
Oh, the cap.
With the mission? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, everybody has a time to get out, right? Like you found your time to get in. Like, when is it going to be your time to get out and relax and kind of be just at peace with yourself and at peace with the work that you've done?
Right. Well, I will be the first person to circumnavigate the globe in promotion of world peace. The peace plane will fly by 2025.
Okay.
And after that excursion's done, I hope to take a break.
So does it take that long to get the training? I mean, you got to be pretty skilled to be going around the world.
Right. I'll get my license in a couple of months. The saving up for the plane and campaigning. So the idea of peace campaigning, I'm not an activist. I'm not going to be out there on the streets picketing. That's not my thing, right? My thing is I campaign for peace like it's Coca-Cola. We know Coca-Cola because it's literally everywhere. How can we have peace be flashy enough that it opens the eye of someone who may not be interested in it at all, right?
You need a Batman logo.
Right. The idea is I'm not a pilot, but I'm pursuing flying solely for peace. Now, that gets pilot people on board. It gets people who are into, you know, machines on board. And then people who think, you know, aviation's fancy, they're on board. And then the idea of a daredevil sort of stunt gets people enthralled. This is the idea. And once that's done, you get people involved and people start donating and it can become a fuss, a thing, you know. That's the idea.
Well, that's amazing. So what about, you mentioned earlier when I was speaking with you about the summer program.
Right. Every kid
Talk a little bit about that.
Yes. Most definitely. So
that's dope.
In Tacoma, it's only within the city limits of Tacoma. From July 1st all the way to September 1st, any kid in Tacoma, Washington will be able to go to designated restaurants between a certain time and get a meal for free. It's the idea is to eradicate child hunger in Tacoma for a summer.
Now, will there be like a website or will there be vouchers or they just go several times a day, once a day? How is that tracked, and how does that work? If someone wants to register, how's that work?
Right. So, okay, restaurants. Anyone in Tacoma, if you're a restaurant, please reach out to me. Inbox me at the Peace Bus, my Instagram. Right. Inbox me. We're gonna create a roster for the summer, and then kids will go. The restaurants will pick the hours as well as whatever food they want to give out. A kid will come and they'll get a stamp for the day. Once you get your stamp, you're good for the day. That's it. And if you want to go on Tuesday and go to, say, for example, Monday is Buddy's Chicken and Waffles. They'll go there. They can get a meal on Monday. Tuesday, they go to, Olive Garden. They can get a meal on that day. It's going to be throughout the entire week. So every day of the week, any kid can get a meal for free.
So you mean to tell me I could take my son to go get something to eat for free, but I can't eat?
No.
I got to be hungry.
Every kid eats.
So I got to be hungry. The kid get to eat, and he just eating in front of my face like this Buddy Chicken and Waffles is good, but I would give you a bite. I know we starving. I know your front bone touching your backbone, but you can't have none of this syrup on my waffle. Like, you got to just watch me eat, Daddy.
Okay. Here's
talk to me.
Right. This is the reason
mama
why.
hungry too. Daddy hungry too.
Being a humanitarian, I've been doing this work for a while, and you try to figure out what's going to allow people, what's going to resonate with the people, right? Mm-hmm. Sadly, in our society, adults don't care about adults, right? If I were to start a campaign, everyone eats, people wouldn't donate, not nearly. We love our kids. We love our kids more than ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. So at first the idea was everyone eats. That's what was in my brain. That's what I was cultivating as far as this campaign is concerned. But I thought about donations. I thought about the feasibility of that happening. Thought to tone it down one step. What about we do every kid eats, see how that goes, see if we can rally around that. And being that kids are innocent, a lot of times when we look at adults, some people think that, life, they've made bad decisions. That they don't deserve food, they don't deserve to be out of poverty because they made bad decisions. But kids have no choice. People are more prone to helping kids out.
I agree with you.
And then the feasibility is huge,
I tell my kids that I mentor and my kids that I have my own is take advantage of the help while people are willing to give it to you still. Because once you get a certain age, people expect for you, especially as a young man, for you to get it for yourself. So right now, if somebody's willing to donate some money to you or give you some time or some knowledge or some wisdom, you make sure that you do your best to take advantage of that because there's going to be a day where that comes to an end. So you're exactly right.
Right, but the farce is that people who are experiencing poverty, who are adults, oftentimes are doing that due to generational poverty. So oftentimes it's not their fault, but that's another lie that's out there where people think that, they made their decision this or that, and that's the reason why they're out there. Yes, we have decisions that we make, but what is the basis to which we made them, right? Mm-hmm. If I grew up and my parents are addicted to a drug, what are the chances that I'm going to be addicted to a drug or seeking that lifestyle? It's a big problem.
Well, and how far in the negative are you starting?
Right.
Like where's your starting point?
Right, 100%.
Where's your starting point? You can work as hard, but if you're starting already at a higher level, you're just... And then life happens, shit happens.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's happened a lot, especially in the last 2 years to a lot of families. So...
So growing up in Tacoma...
Mm-hmm.
And
I grew up in university place.
I was just about to say...
Upper middle class.
So majority of your work isn't in those areas. Your work is outside of those areas. Let me know, do you get any backlash? Like, this guy, it's really not about peace with him. It can't be. Nobody's willing to give that much. And if so, is that detouring for you sometimes? Like, man,
I don't care what people think, man. I don't care what people think. I'm doing what I was called to do. I'm doing what brings me joy and fulfillment.
Yeah, I love that.
Just, get up and do what you need to do in order to be yourself, right? Forget your first question. You had talked about, forget what you had just asked me, but...
So you're just here on your journey.
Right, the backlash.
Like, do you get that?
Right.
Or have you heard it? Or have you even paid attention to it?
Right. Okay, this is on record. I haven't told this to anyone, but I've had someone inbox me with hush money being like, hey, if you stop talking about racism, I can give you this amount of money for the campaign, for the Peace Bus.
Why are you talking about race?
Because racism, it completely contradicts peace. Mm-hmm. I can't be an advocate for peace and not talk about racism as a major inhibitor of peace. If we're looking for unity, if we're looking to come together, racism must be addressed, and it must be addressed now if we want peace, if that's what we want.
We have a question from one of the listeners, the viewers right now.
That's dope.
Alicia Green, where does the Peace Bus go?
Where does it go?
Yes. So when you're driving around the Peace Bus, what is it doing? Where is it going? What do you do with it?
I run it around Tacoma mainly, unless I have a campaign that, lifts me off somewhere else. Just this last summer, took it to Washington, D.C., which was really cool. I'm hoping that maybe in a year or so, depends on where I'm at with the peace plane, but I have this idea of taking it to South America and doing some work down there. Just the idea of someone seeing it, right? Maybe a kid or an adult seeing the Peace Bus and they're just thinking about peace because of that. When I first got the Peace Bus, I first created it. I drove it to Fred Meyer's that was getting some groceries. I saw a mom and her daughter, young daughter, maybe 4 years old, and the girl looks at the bus and she's trying to read it, but she can't, right? And he's like, Mom, what does that say? And she's like, oh, that says the Peace Bus. And she's like, wow, it's really pretty. That's what the girl said. And she's like, Mom, what's peace? Mm-hmm. And her mom was like, we'll talk about it when we go home. Mm-hmm. And I think this was the first.
Probably stunned her.
Right.
She know what to say, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking this may have been the first time this little girl has the word peace in her mind. And to think that she was smiling at the bus, so she already has a positive connotation to peace before knowing what it is. This is the beginning. And if we can expose our kids and ourselves towards what peace really means, I think we can create a new culture, cultivate something new to bring our nation together.
I feel like you need a jingle. I feel like Peace Bus needs a jingle. I feel like you need to be more like the ice cream man. I feel like feel like he just needs a Peace Bus jingle where he could just ride around the neighborhood and hand out top ramen and hand out milk. You know what I'm saying? And just randomly just pop up in people's neighborhoods.
Well, okay, but wait a minute. I was getting a vision too. So look, but mine was more like Sesame. So you need puppets.
You need a jingle.
You need to go. Do you do puppets?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that wasn't original. You need to go.
Do you have a peace jingle?
Peace jingle.
Yes.
No, I got one for the peace plane, in the sky between.
Peace, 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 peace.
That's not original too. That's from
But are they saying peace though? Are they saying peace though?
No.
No, they're talking about dreaming.
But we're talking about peace.
Some
people dream of peace.
Peace is the dream. It's the goal.
Peace is the dream.
I like it.
Or we can go.
Kwabi has a dream.
Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
My name is Kwabi, and you gotta spit peace. Every single day, I'm getting what I need.
Peace.
I got peace. Hey, I got peace. Hey,
peace. This man can do anything. Dang, bro.
The man with the peace.
We gotta do a peace commercial now with you rollerblading, doing flips to the jump rope, to the rollerblade and jump rope. If you can rollerblade and jump rope at the same time,
I never tried. Probably could.
But I wouldn't call you that. I don't know if I can call Gandhi's nephew.
No, I'm a black man.
He's a black man. All right, yeah. My bad. I ain't gonna call him that. So,
man,
dang, is the time up already?
Look, I'm supposed to be figuring out how to get y'all's comments.
But I think the time is up, man.
With the little app.
For that. We ran out of time.
Dang. Well, I enjoyed you. What do you want to say? What else do you want to let people know that's going on?
With the puppets or whatnot, with the show, yes, I'm going to be working with a new producer and hopefully creating this next Peace Bus show. And we already created the pilot episode. Anyone online, go on YouTube and type in the Peace Bus show. You'll see the pilot episode. And we got new episodes coming up soon.
Nice. And where can companies, again, restaurants get with you to be part of this wonderful summer program?
Right. Hit me up on Instagram at the Peace Bus. It's the best way to reach me. If you inbox me, I will get back to you. And if you're not a restaurant, you just want to talk about peace, reach out to me too. I'm always down to have a conversation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming here.
I appreciate you. I feel like there's one more thing, like your IG handle and all of that other things. What's your...
Yeah. So Instagram is at the Peace Bus. Online, it's just for Facebook, it's just Kwabi Amoah-Forson. And yeah, that's the best way to reach me, either Facebook or Instagram.
Man, thanks everybody for tapping in today, viewing. You'll be able to hear us on all the audio platforms tomorrow, 7 p.m. We'll catch you next Wednesday, live again, 7 p.m. Tap in. We'll get your comments next week, we promise. But today we had so much fun with Kwabi that we kind of missed that. So, and of course, my fabulous.
I'm signing off. I'm your boy, BoeBlast _BoeBlast on IG.
Cinnamon Javon, IG.
And we signing out. We out of here.
Right.
Thanks for tuning into Temp Check with your hosts, BoeBlast and Cinnamon. Listen in next time for more of the hottest topics and spiciest conversations, only on Fever Radio.